Once celebrated as a shining example of personal diplomacy, the relationship between US President Donald Trump and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spiraled into crisis. A damning 50% tariff has hit Indian economy, and that too by its strong ally, USA. Their February 13, 2025 White House summit heralded hopes of a trade breakthrough and strategic alignment, particularly under the new trust framework and the goal of doubling bilateral trade to $500 billion by 2030. Yet barely months later, diplomatic trust has frayed, trade talks collapsed, and tensions soared over India's energy ties with Russia. Despite vigorous negotiation over 5 rounds, including Indian offers of zero tariffs on industrial goods and commitments to boost US energy and defense imports, the deal fell apart. India refused extensive concessions in agriculture and dairy sectors. Trump imposed a sweeping 25% tariff on Indian goods effective August 1st and warned of unspecified penalties tied to India's continued purchase of Russian oil. And just after that, he imposed further 25% on August 6, 2025. At the heart of the bilateral breakdown lie broken political signals and miscommunication. New Delhi misread Trump's intentions and lacked a direct personal engagement channel between Trump and Modi. Diplomats describe Indian negotiators as stunned, the tone behind closed doors reportedly starkly different from the public bromance. Meanwhile, Trump deepened ties with rivals like Pakistan, raising concerns in Delhi. This has pushed India to announce a surprising visit of PM Modi to China for SCO summit this year, making it first visit of Modi to China since 2019, thus creating a major shift in the geopolitics of the region and the world. India estimates up to $64 billion worth of exports to the US could lose competitiveness due to the new tariffs and penalties affecting labor-intensive sectors like garments, jewelry, electronics, and pharmaceuticals. Analysts project a 0.2 to 0.3 percentage point drag on GDP growth in fiscal year 26, with Indian sectors particularly vulnerable. Despite these headwinds, US corporate giants, including Apple, Google, Tesla, Amgen, and Costco, remain deeply committed to investing in India's booming market, drawn by low wages and supply chain shifts. Strategic collaboration in defense and technology persists through high-profile initiatives like TRUST, a rebranding of the earlier ICET framework, and the Indus X Startup Accelerator. This includes deeper US tech transfers, 80% approval on GEF 414 engines, semiconductor investments, space partnerships, and a planned Indian astronaut visit to the ISS. The CHIPS and Science Act supports a compound semiconductor fabrication fab in India, backed by US capital and technology transfer, projected to produce 50,000 units annually starting in 2027 with $500 million in investments. Facing mounting US pressure, India is doubling down on a pivot towards self-reliance. The production-linked incentive scheme has attracted over $20 billion in investment, boosting sectors such as electronics. Exports grew from $24 billion in 2021 to $60.7 billion in 2025, pharmaceuticals, and solar energy. India now claims 50% self-sufficiency in API supplies and is diversifying export markets toward the EU, ASEAN, and African trade corridors. India also defends its energy autonomy, continuing to import discounted Russian oil to stabilize refining margins, rejecting Western pressure on sanctions policy. A US delegation is expected soon in New Delhi, potentially reopening negotiations, though many analysts warn a deal is unlikely without direct leader engagement. India may signal flexibility by considering reduced Russian oil imports while still safeguarding agriculture policy. The success of future strategic cooperation hinges on rebuilding personal trust and communication at the highest level. Once celebrated as a defining partnership in the Indo-Pacific era, US-India ties have plummeted from public camaraderie to sharp mutual recrimination. With deep economic stakes, almost $200 billion in annual trade, the fallout threatens not only market access but also hard-earned strategic credibility. Moving forward, the restoration of trust requires bold political leadership. Neither side can afford to let the bromance become a barrier to sustainable diplomacy.